You're going to create a flow chart, and you're going to use this tool, online tool, to do it. It's called drawio, but it's attached to your Google Drive, and you can set it up to where you save all of your files into your Google Drive, and that's what we want to do. And there's a little bit of a setup process there. So once you go there, go through that setup process, and you'll see how that works. But once you get into it and you're set up with Google Drive, then you want to click on create a new diagram. There's all kinds of different diagrams in here that you can choose from. I think the easiest one is just to use a blank diagram. I'd give it a name, so we're going to call this Russian Revolution, right? And I want to make a blank diagram here, and I'm going to create this thing. And it'll give me this blank canvas right here, and it gives me a lot of different options for things that I can put in here. But when we create a flow chart, basically you're saying that one thing leads to another, and in the Russian Revolution, that's certainly what occurs. And you've got all these different kinds of tools available to you, okay? And so what you're going to want to do is, for each major event, you're going to want to put some kind of a box or indicate that it's located there, right? Something like this, or you can use any shape you want, really. And then you want to give it a label. So we're going to add data. No, not in here. Let me get rid of that thing. Maybe we can use this text box. Here's a little text box that I can use. And then I can type in here Alexander II or something like that. You know, I can make this a little bit larger, something like that. And then what I'm going to do, I guess I can fill this. Let me fill this a little bit and give it some kind of a different color that I want to use for it. And I'll do that. I could give it some kind of a line, you know, to make it stand out a little bit better. And then what I'm going to do is, you see, I'm going to add something like this to where I've got my title. I've got that underneath. I don't really want that to have that same fill color, right? And apply that and then go white. And then inside of this, I want to add some text to it. And I guess what I need to do is add some text here. Let me drag that down into the middle here, kind of expand this to fit this shape. And you never know how big the shapes are that you need, but in here, this is where I'm going to talk about Alexander II and what really allowed him to come to power and what was going on there. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to talk about who Alexander was, and get that information typed here. You probably want just a couple of sentences on what he did. Became the Tsar of Russia. Implemented many reforms to help the people. Assassinated because of these reforms those that didn't want to lose power felt they needed to get rid of him. Okay, so I've got my information. Clearly this isn't big enough. I'm going to readjust this, move this out of the way. I'm going to need this thing to be a little bit bigger, kind of as my background there. Stick that in there, and there I go. Let me reposition this. Maybe I want to make this larger. You know, the text inside here, I can bold that, make it a little bit, I don't know, make it fit a little bit better. There we go. Now, he does this thing, and that's who he is, right? And what he does is he ends up setting up the next event. So I can use an arrow indicating that what he does leads to, right? Or I can use that kind of an arrow. I could use this kind of an arrow. You know, if you want to get creative, there are different kinds of arrows in here. Let's see, I can use this kind of an arrow, and you can draw that out, reformat that so that looks like it's going where it needs to go. Let me get rid of that thing. I don't know what that is. You know, but you can redraw some of these things. This looks like it's a hassle. Maybe I don't like using that thing. But at the end of the day, I've got my arrow. I can fill, color, and do all those kinds of things. I'm going to add some text, I think, down below it. Let me go back up here. Add some text. Let me move that underneath here. And then here, for this text, is where I can explain it. As a result of this guy, why the next person comes in and does what he needs to do. So maybe I've got Alexander the Third comes in and he stops all the reforms because he saw what happened to his father, and he knew that that wasn't the direction that they wanted to head for the country and for his own power. And so because of these reforms, he was killed. This made Alexander the Third head in a different direction, and then I'd have Alexander the Third here, and then I talk about what Alexander the Third did. When I'm done with all this, what I want to do is make sure that I publish this. Make sure that I publish this to a PDF and get this inside of my Google Drive, and then that's what I could submit to the My Connect assignment. But I can publish it as a PDF and go that direction.